They were on their way to a Christmas party. Ross, as politically incorrect and cantankerous as Harry, refused to call it a holiday party. As far as he was concerned, it was a Christmas party, like it or lump it. As soon as Ross's successor came on board, shit was shuttered and we were all given our walking papers. Mel landed on her feet with a gig as the new police chief in Bellingham, Washington, 90 miles north of Seattle. As for me, suddenly I found myself in the odd position of being an unwillingly unemployed house husband, a position for which I am not exactly well suited. For starters, I'm a lousy cook. Well, so is Mel, for that matter. Our answer to the question of what's for dinner is generally carry-out. Mel's office is in downtown Bellingham. Our home is several miles south of downtown proper, on a street called Bayside, in an area called Edgemoor, in what's known as Bellingham's Fairhaven district. When possible, I join her for lunch downtown, so we often have our main meal of the day both out and together. On this particular Monday, early in March, lunch together was a no-go, due to Mel's being the guest speaker at a local Rotary Club meeting. Months earlier, I'd been drafted into helping solve the homicide of a long-time acquaintance, a former Seattle Post Intelligencer reporter by the name of Maxwell Cole, and being caught up in the complexities of that case gave me a whole new lease on life. As a result, Mel had encouraged me to fill out the paperwork and apply to become a licensed private investigator in the state of Washington. That process was now complete. I had my license, but I hadn't exactly been out pounding the pavement looking for cases to work. I'd done a couple of background checks and had been involved in research on a couple of cold cases for a volunteer organization called The Last Chance, but nothing about any of those had really grabbed me. For one thing, I was enjoying spending time with the new love of my life, a 90-pound coal-black Irish wolfhound named Lucy. Lucy had come to Mel and me under what was supposedly a temporary fostering arrangement after a domestic violence incident. I believe the term temporary fostering is actually an oxymoron, because once a dog worms its way into your heart, you're pretty much stuck. The DV incident, complete with an officer-involved shooting, had occurred in Bellingham, Mel's bailiwick. A local women's shelter had taken in the battered victim and her 2 kids. I understand that there are shelters that also accept animals under those circumstances, but that particular one in Bellingham didn't. There was simply no room at the inn for the dog. Having never owned a dog in my life, I wasn't the one who stepped to the head of the line and volunteered to bring this one home, especially one named Rambo, as she was known back then. Nope. Mel did all that on her own without so much as a by-your-leave from me. In case I haven't mentioned it before, Mel is a strong-minded woman, and strong-willed, too. When she showed up with that humongous Irish wolfhound in tow, I did what any reasonable, right-thinking husband would do under the circumstances. I overcame my profound but unspoken misgivings and went with the flow. After opening our door to the dog, and even after learning that her original name was Lucy, I wasn't necessarily prepared to open my heart. That changed, however, when the domestic violence perpetrator, let out on bail, came looking for Mel, knife in hand. The incident had taken place in a churchyard across the street from Bell.